You can actually learn how to make this beautiful dress even when you don't know how to sew before. Hello beautiful people, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. In today's video we are going to learn how to make this beautiful gown that with the sleeve, and the sleeve has a drawstring on it. It's very simple, very detailed. So without further ado, let's get into the video. By the way, my name is Grace. I start by marking my starting point, and this starting point that I'm marking is also my shoulder line. Okay, in this type of the dress you don't really need your hip point or your under bust point. So from the shoulder to this point, I'm marking my bust point, which is 10 inch. I mark the length of this dress, which is 39 inch, plus 1 inch for hemming and allowance. Okay, so I simply connect it on a straight line. So I'm marking my neckline now. The neckline, the width of the neckline for the front and for the back will be the same. For the width, I mark 3 inch, and for the depth of the back neck, I mark 2 inch. Sorry guys, I failed to tell you that this is the back piece. We are actually cutting on the back piece first. When we are done, we are going to use it as a pattern to cut our front piece. So I now slope the shoulder by 1 inch, and from that shoulder slope I connect it to the neckline as shown. I'm now marking my armhole point, which is 8 inch. Sorry, I mark 8.5 because this is actually the free dress. From the shoulder line to this line I mark 8.5, and that is my chest line. Okay, so I'm now connecting it on a straight line to touch that shoulder line that we input. Yes, connecting it on a straight line like this. So at this new line you can also repeat that same shoulder measurement that you put, so that you have this straight line that I have. After that, at this straight line I'm also inputting quarter of my bust circumference plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. At the hem line, I'm inputting quarter of my hip circumference plus extra 4 inch for the flare or for the A line. All right, you can input 3 inch, you can input more, or 5 or 6, depending. I think the minimum you should use is 3 inch. So after that, I'm now connecting it to the hem of the gown like this as shown. Okay, you don't want your gown to have this sharp edge, so you need to connect it like this with a curve. I'm also connecting my armhole cuff like this, and I'm cutting it out. All right, so this is how we are going to cut it, and I'm going to show you how you cut your a front armhole, still on the process of making this dress. You know, the front armhole and the back is not always the same. Okay, the front is always deeper than that of the back. I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm now placing my back piece as a pattern to get my front piece. I'm marking where my slits. I'm marking a slit point, which is 4 inch. Sorry, the mark is not too obvious on the camera, but it's obvious off camera. So from the neckline, mark 4 inch. In fact, mark 5 inch. Mark 5 inch because we are going to reduce. We will reduce the neckline of the front by 1 inch. Yes, the depth of the neckline, we are going to reduce it by 1 inch. So mark 5 inch for the slit. That is exactly what I did there. I'm placing another tiny material like this. This is for the facing. So I now position it well. I'm tracing out the neckline and the shoulder line. This facing I'm cutting is actually the back facing, okay? So now after cutting the back facing, this is the front. Guys, I told you I'm going to reduce the neckline. I'm going to dip in my neckline by 1 inch. The front is supposed to be deeper than that of the back. So from that neckline, I'm marking 4 inch. Have you seen it? Marking 4 inch. That 4 inch I'm marking will serve as the slit. So I stress out the neckline and the shoulder line. I'm slitting my facing now. I also slit my main dress as well. So from that slit point, make sure you have 3.5 to 4 inch, and then you connect it like this and curve it out. So when after cutting, look at what you have. You're supposed to have something looking like this. So I'm going to take it to my machine and stitch it at this keyhole side face. I'm stitching the front keyhole with less than half an inch. In fact, I'm stitching it very close to the edge. So this is the back. After stitching the back, I'm going to take it and top stitch. For the front, I told you I'm stitching it with less than half an inch. With less than half an inch, very close to the stitch, very close to the edge. So after stitching it, I'm going to top stitch it like this. After top stitching, it relaxed very well. So I'm going to flip it again, right side facing, and turn my neckline. After turning my neckline, we are going to iron it out. Look at what we have. It's looking very neat and very beautiful. And guys, to get this neat neckline, please, while you are turning your neckline, I mean the main neckline, not the keyhole, please try and use half an inch to turn it. So I'm now placing my back piece on top of my front piece. So you can see me using the back facing to flip it and stitch it down. After stitching, guys, look at what we have. It's looking very neat and very beautiful. All right, so we are going to close the side seam now by 1 inch. We added 1 inch. We close the other side seam by 1 inch. This dress, I told you, is very simple to make. So after closing the side seam like this, we will work on the sleeve now and also on the front of the armhole of this dress. Before then, I have to check if I have the accurate measurement I need. So I measure my shoulder and I see that I have exactly what I want. I also measure my armhole. I see that is exactly what I want. So I'm moving on to the sleeve now. This sleeve, I mark 9 inch point at the edge. The wideness of this sleeve is the wideness of this sleeve is 9 inch. Okay, so from that I'm coming down by 4 inch. You can come down by, yeah, I'm coming down by 4 inch. So I'm making a slanted is up to the edge of it. The reason why I make it to be very pointy like this, again, this my material stretch, so I don't really need excess from the sleeve. Otherwise, if you don't know how to cut a basic sleeve, check check out my channel. I have a video on how to cut a basic sleeve. Okay, so from the starting line again, I'm marking the length of my sleeve, and after marking the length of my sleeve, I connect that 9 inch point straight down. We don't pencil it because we are going to have a elastic and a drawstring on this sleeve, so there's no really need to pencil it like a normal basic sleeve. Okay, so I'm using this as a pattern to cut my the other side of my sleeve. We need two pieces. So after cutting, this is what we have. The next thing I'm doing now is I'm marking my midpoint. I also mark the midpoint for up and down so that I will have a straight line there. And because I'm doing it, I'm marking down on my right, on my front piece, so I don't want it to be too obvious, but I actually have a straight line there. It might not really show. This will serve as a guide for me when sewing. I have another rope here about 3 inch in as the width, or 2.5. So I'm going to take it to my machine and fold this edge like this, and also fold the side edge. I'm going to fold it in form of bias. So with the help of the hemming gum, I'm going to do that very well. For this tiny piece about 1 inch, you can decide to fold it this way, but I'm going to fold it right side facing and stitch it down. So after doing that, I'm going to be back and show you what we have. You can see after folding that, we have cut out what we are going to work with. And for this 1 inch point, you can see the way I stitch it down. Because it's stretching material, I'm going to be able to flip it outside with the help of my broomstick. So I'm flipping it to the right side now, and I'm going to be making use of 2 pieces. After that, I'm going to iron it very well. These 2 pieces, I will, after ironing, look at what we have. It's looking beautiful. It's looking very beautiful. So we are going to start sewing. And also at the course of ironing, I put aiming gum on it and iron it, push the excess allowance inside and iron it flat. So the first thing I'm going to do is to aim the down of our sleeve. To aim it, I aim it in the way that my small safety pin can pass through, okay? Because we'll be attaching elastic at that aim line. So for this tiny rope, I actually mark the midpoint, because we are going to stitch it at that midpoint, that shoulder line that we draw. So at the sleeve cap height, you can come down by 4 inch. I come down by 4 inch and stitch that tiny rope. After stitching the tiny rope, I take the other piece that I fold in form of bias. I place it, I make sure that it cover the edge of this tiny rope. I stitch down the edge and the midpoint. So I'm now pushing in the tiny rope inside. I'm going to be stitching it on the I'm going to be top stitching at the edge. So after top stitching at the edge, look at what we have. It's looking beautiful. All right. And when we drag it, it's giving us shape already. Um, this drawstring and the elastic is what will give this sleeve a shape. So I'm now marking the my elastic measurement. You can actually measure your hand. I actually measure mine to know the wideness of my elastic, so that it will not be too loose on my hand, and also it will not be too tight on my hand. You can place the elastic and measure its face. I measure before I cut, and when I measure it, I notice that is the measurement I'm using is not too tight and not too loose. So with the help of safety pin, I pin one edge of my elastic and I push it inside. When I push it inside, we are going to have something like gathers like this. So I'm going to take it to my machine and stitch the 2H down. I'm going to stitch it down. We are stitching that 2H down the normal way we always insert our elastic. I'm still measuring my shoulder again to check if the measurement is okay for me, and when it's okay, all right, I'm trimming off my front armhole. I told you that the front armhole and the back is not always the same. So this trimming I'm doing is only on my front piece. I'm trimming it off a bit. You can trim it by 0.5 inch or 0.7 inch. All right. So after that, I'm now shaping my sleeve. Now shaping my sleeve like this. I'm going to be attaching it to this dress. To attach it to the dress, I flip it to the wrong side. I now push my sleeve inside in the way that right side face each other. Okay. So I'm pinning it at the armhole, and when I make sure that there is no excess, I'm going to take it to my machine and stitch it down. I will also repeat the same process on this side. So guys, after doing everything and everything coupling, this is what we have. I aimed it down. It's looking very beautiful. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this dress, and let me know if you have learned one thing or the other. Do not fail to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. See you all in my next video. Bye.